Hi, I'm Nicole Brewster. I'm the President and CEO of Renforth Resources. We trade on the CSE in Canada under the symbol RFR, but we also trade in the United States on the OTCQB under the symbol RFHRF. We boast a very interesting battery metals property in northwestern Quebec, along with a gold deposit nearby and a compelling exploration gold story in Ontario. Our big project, the focus of the company and the reason I'm here, is the battery metals project. It's 330 square kilometers, which is more or less 175 square miles, and it boasts right now, it's got 6 areas of known historic mineralization. We've worked on 3 of them. 2 of them end up being a 20-kilometer long band with historic work at either end, but that band is mineralized with a nickel sulfide of a low grade right now, polymetallic, along the 20 kilometers on surface, and we've drilled it. We drilled 2.2 kilometers of it to a depth of about 180 meters. Second structure to the north, we've pulled it out to 9 kilometers in strike length. Same kind of mineralization, polymetallic, nickel sulfide rich right now. But the interesting thing is visually, we're getting the best mineralization from that area. So the 2 horizons combine for 29 kilometers of mineralization, which is interesting. It's open pittable, which is cheaper, but it's got road access, which makes it much cheaper. It's got hydroelectric power line running over the mineralization beside the road, which makes it cheaper again. And we're about an hour from Canada's only copper nickel smelter, which means Glencore, who owns it, will be watching what we're doing because they would love to put more metal through their smelter. And they're the only customer an hour away. So it's quite an interesting situation we find ourselves in with polymetallic that is comprised of nickel, as I've said. On surface right now it's of a low grade, but when we get to 170, 150 meters deep, the nickel graded 3.4% nickel over 1.5 meters. 1% is good nickel, 3.4 is really high grade. And a small sample, but it speaks to if there's a little bit of it there, there's probably more of it there. But we also have copper, we have cobalt, we have zinc, we have platinum group elements, namely platinum and palladium, and we have cobalt. So we have a whole basket of all the metals needed for energy storage. Well, we only acquired this property in late 2020 and early 2021 because I staked it all. So it's all wholly owned. We don't owe anyone any money. We didn't buy it. We went out and claimed it. And we've since been claimed in. We're tight. No, we can't get any more ground. Well, we've got a lot of it. But once we got the ground, we went out and started exploring. And we established that the mineralization, the 20 kilometers, is consistently mineralized. We can find it on surface along its entire strike. So we've eliminated any doubt there. We established that the second structure, which has a geophysical signature that's actually much longer, we've ground truthed. We've gone out and proven that it's on the ground on surface, 9 kilometers of that structure. And honestly, we're probably done because now we've got to work towards putting a resource together. So we stripped the property, we did some initial drilling. Over the summer, we did much more prospecting, established the 9 kilometers. This fall, we're going to do some more work, more stripping, and we'll drill towards the end of the year. But really, the achievement is just in establishing that it's there, and it's big. And nobody's been paying attention, but now we like these metals. We need these metals. Everyone needs these metals, and we've got them. Well, like I said, we're going to do some stripping. And the reason we're going to strip is it gives the geologists a better window into what the mineralization really looks like. Because it's hard to get when you drill a hole, you're drilling like a small tube of metal, of rock, and trying to extrapolate it. If we strip the surface, we can really see what it's doing on surface. So we're going to do some stripping across the 9-kilometer structure, which is we call it Lalonde in the north. So you'll hear me talk about Lalonde in press releases. Victoria, the 20-kilometer structure, which in the west is Victoria and in the east is Colony, the historic showings, we drilled Victoria. We thought we knew what we were doing, but then we commissioned a very interesting airborne magnetic survey with an EM component, and the EM can see the first 100 meters, through the first 100 meters, give us sulfide targets. So the EM gave us 2 bands of sulfide targets at Victoria. We're like, we drilled it already. We only got 1. So the geologists went out in the field, and about 50 meters north of the known Victoria 20-kilometer horizon, there's a second band. We've never seen it. We're going to strip it. Once we finish our stripping at Lalonde and Victoria, towards the end of the year, we will drill at Lalonde and Victoria. Lalonde, I'm pretty sure we're going to drill. Lalonde's given us the best visual mineralization we've seen to date. Victoria, we have to drill because we entirely missed a band of mineralization, so we got to step above it and drill through it. So what will investors see? Well, they'll see my results from earlier this summer because we're still waiting on the labs. They'll see me strip, hopefully get results sometime this year. Then they'll see me drill and drill and drill and drill. At this point, there's no magic. Along the way, we'll try to dispose of some assets if transactions make sense. If they don't, we'll wait. But really, we're now going to knuckle down and drill, and we're moving towards the next target for me is to put a inferred resource around 6 kilometers of the strike at Victoria, and possibly around Lalonde, although Lalonde is not as advanced as Victoria is right now. I mean, if we are lucky and we drill something really interesting, the market will react to a drill hole. But what else will the market react to? I'm doing consistent marketing from here through the end of the year. I don't know who I talk to. It only takes, the stock's thinly traded right now with very strong support, but it's thinly traded. So it only takes a couple of guys in a penny stock to put modest amounts of money in to get large positions that affect the stock as well. So marketing and results, those are the catalysts. Those are always the catalysts. There's no magic. The big catalyst, though, I think more importantly, is the macro situation. Battery metals are needed. They're desperately needed. There's not enough on the planet to meet the stated 2030 EV goals, none of which will be met. But China's importing 93% of the nickel that's produced in the world. 93%. The US is a nascent battery industry. They want to have all these gigafactories and build batteries. There's only 7% of the nickel created in the world available. A lot of the nickel, a good portion of the nickel being produced is coming out of Indonesia. It's extremely dirty. It's a matte product that they're double smelting in order to upgrade it to something that can go into battery adjacent technology. You still need class 1 nickel, which is sulfide nickel, to build batteries. The upsizing, double smelting, hideously pollutive Indonesian practices aside, they're not creating the right stuff for long-range batteries. North Americans are going to want cars with long-range batteries because we live in big countries. So the macro is going to have an effect as well. And personally, I don't think mining's going to take note of this. I think it's going to be a battery company or an automotive company wanting vertical integration. Our Prime Minister just let Germany call dibs on Canada, and that was for Mercedes and Volkswagen. But others have already been up here, and we all know what Mr. Musk has to say about find me nickel, find me anything. So I think it's a revolution that's coming, and it's the storage of energy. And there's not enough assets to meet it. We're a junior. We're very well positioned. We're wholly owned. We have no economic pressure. Very tightly run. I do most everything. We have geologists that do the field work. We do pinpoint exploration with a view to the exit strategy, which for me is getting the company taken over. But yeah, we're just small, we're aggressive, and we're ridiculously well positioned for a company our size. We shouldn't have this asset. And I'm not a genius. I just started staking stuff because my staking guy, I said, stake this and join it, maybe make it bigger. And he and I were exchanging emails, and all of a sudden I staked, a couple hundred square kilometers. But I was staking historical data that nobody cared about almost 2 years ago. They care about it now.